Hi guys, welcome back again to my channel. My name is Dami and I'm a YouTuber based in London, Ontario, Canada. I share lifestyle content and also some immigration content as well. If you're new to my channel, please feel free to join the family by clicking on the subscribe button down below, and also don't forget to like this video and feel free to check some of my other content as well. In today's video, I will be doing something a bit different from what I usually do, or something a bit different from what I usually talk about. So in today's video, I'll be talking about some of the things that I did not know until I moved to Canada. Like, I know everybody's moving to Canada now, and I feel like there's certain things that you don't know about, or certain things people don't really tell you until you experience them yourself, until you get here and see them yourselves. So I've taken it upon myself to tell you guys some of the things that I was not aware about when I was coming to this country, or things that I did not really know until I moved here and I started seeing it myself or experiencing it myself as well. I know I've seen a few videos like this, but I'm like, oh, I have the platform, why not share some of my own thoughts about this and also some of my experiences with these things. So quick disclaimer, whatever thing I'm saying in this video is just based on my personal experience and also things people have told me. So this is not a means to discourage anyone from moving to Canada. Canada is a great country, so feel free to come to Canada. I'm in Canada and I don't think I'm leaving Canada anytime soon. We all know Canada is like the world immigration hub right now. Everybody's moving to Canada from different countries, Africa, Europe, Australia, America. Everybody's coming to Canada for reasons best known to them. I know personally I moved to Canada because obviously my country is not the best, and I wanted the best for myself and for my family and my generation to come. Canada admits more than 400,000 people or immigrants every year. It admits people from different parts of the world. It's very, very multicultural. When I was moving here, I really did not know certain things. I just felt like there are things that I really did not hear or I really did not see until I came to this place. So here are some of the things that I did not know about Canada, or nobody told me about Canada until I actually moved here. And the first thing is homelessness. I know this is very cliche, or this may seem somehow, but the truth is, from the country I moved from, I'm originally Nigerian and I moved from Nigeria. We have a lot of homeless people on the street that are homeless for several reasons, not just one reason. And I was thinking, oh, Western countries is more organized and you will not find anybody on the streets, like everybody will be taken off the street and stuff. But it was not like that when I moved here. I know there are homeless people on the street. Like, there's so many homeless, maybe not so many, but we have a lot of homeless people on the street in Canada as well. And even from research, it says that over 60% of the homeless women on the street are women that were victims of abuse, either physical abuse or sexual abuse, and they couldn't fend for themselves anymore and just decided to fall to the streets and now are homeless. So there are several homeless people on the streets in Canada as well. If you're maybe from Africa and you feel like, oh, there's no homeless person in Canada, there are so many homeless people. Although the country tries so hard to help these people, they have so many homeless shelters, but I don't think those shelters are enough, and there are still some people that cannot get into the shelter, or people that come back to the streets even though they have like shelters provided for them as well. So that's the first thing that shocked me when I came here. I'm like, okay, I didn't know there were so many people on the streets that don't have houses. And the next thing that nobody told me about when I was coming to Canada is the healthcare issues. So Canada has free healthcare. If you're a resident in Canada and either a student, a worker, or a permanent resident, you have access to free healthcare. And I was thinking, oh, since healthcare is free, maybe it should be easy to access as well, but it's not like that. I realized that there's a lot of problems in the healthcare system, and this is majorly because most of the doctors, most of the healthcare practitioners are getting towards retirement, and it's just going to be a problem in a few years from now. So many people don't have family doctors. Even nurses are overworked. I see so many TikTok videos and people complaining constantly that they are overworked. I mean nurses, they're overworked and they're not getting well paid for the efforts they are putting in. So many nurses, so many doctors are leaving the country. Some people are relocating to other countries so that they can get better pay for their efforts, which is crazy. It's really telling on the country. And so many people like myself, I've been trying to get a family doctor for probably 1.5 years and I haven't gotten one. So many people don't have doctors, so many people can't access healthcare really quickly. So if you have like an emergency, it could take you so much time before you are attended to, even if you go to the emergency unit. So that's the kind of problems that we experience here when it comes to the healthcare system. I know people would say, oh, there's so many immigrants coming into Canada and there's so many doctors coming into Canada, but these people cannot practice. I think they make it really difficult for people like foreign trained doctors, foreign trained healthcare practitioners to settle into the system, because they have to take several exams. They have to like literally go back to school to study for what they already were practicing in their country. So this is one of the things that I did not know until I actually got into the country. Another thing that I did not know was phone bill in Canada is really, really, really expensive. If you are in Canada or if you're living in Canada, you must have experienced that phone bill or phone plans are so expensive. I came from Nigeria and phone plan in Nigeria is not really expensive. So you can get good plans for like 1,000 naira. You can get good plans for like 1,500 naira in Nigeria. But coming here, I realized that plans are so expensive. The average cost of a monthly plan in Canada is about $75, and that would probably get you maybe 3 gigabytes data plan. Which is crazy. Like, it's so expensive. One factor that causes this is because there are 3 major telecom companies in Canada: Bell, Rogers, and Fido. I'm not really sure, but I think those are the 3 major telecom company, and they own over 90% of the market. So when just 3 companies own over 90% of the market, this means that there is no competition. So they don't have competitors. Those 3 people are each other's competitors, and one person's price is high, the other person's price is high, and it keeps going like that. So it's really, really expensive, and not a lot of people can afford those phone plans. I remember there was a time that I had to, like, it's even till now, I don't use my mobile data in public places. The only thing I use my mobile data for in public places is like for Google Maps and maybe WhatsApp, but Instagram and every other app, I turned that off because it is crazy expensive. The next thing that nobody really told me about until I came to Canada is the fact that your credit card is like your life. Everything about you is tied to your credit score. Not like everything about you is tied to your credit score, but everything you want to do is linked back to your credit card or linked back to your credit score. I shot a video some time ago where I spoke about your credit score and how to take care of your credit card and your credit score. I would link that video somewhere so that you guys can watch if you're interested. Your credit score can either make your life or mar your life in a Western country. I know we don't use credit cards in Nigeria. Everything is paid up front, and we don't use credit cards. But when I came here, I realized that just get a credit card. You go to your bank, and they give you a credit card, and credit is put on that card. So you may feel like, oh, you have money. Maybe they put $1,500 on your credit card, and you feel like, oh, you have 1,500 free cash. It is not free. It is borrowed money. I always try to tell people that treat your credit card like borrowed money. And however you decide to use your credit card affects your credit score, and your credit score affects your life. So if you're trying to get a phone, something as small as a phone, they go back to your credit score to make sure that your credit score is good and you don't spend money carelessly. Even if you want to like rent a house, they go back to your credit score to make sure your credit score is good. When you're buying a property, when you're buying a car, they always tend to go back to check your credit score because it shows how you spend money. So if your credit score is bad, that means you spend money recklessly, and nobody wants to borrow somebody a phone, or nobody wants to give somebody a car that they know that they would spend money recklessly and eventually not be able to pay up when they're supposed to. So that's something that really shocked me. Everything is linked to your credit card, and however you decide to spend your credit card affects your credit score, and your credit score affects your life. On a lighter note, another thing that I did not know about Canada until I moved here is that alcohol is not allowed in public places. So if you're in Nigeria, or if you're in most places in Africa, you know that if you go to the beach, you can get alcohol, buy alcohol at the beach and drink alcohol. You can like be drinking. People even drink alcohol like on the streets. But in Canada, it is not like that. You are not allowed to drink alcohol in public places. You can only consume alcohol in your house, or in like a club, or in a bar. You are not allowed to like consume alcohol on the street or in the beach. In the beach, you can't even buy alcohol. You can't even bring alcohol. Only places allowed is your house and the bars. The next thing that was a shock to me in Canada is tax. Taxes in Canada is really high. Like there's several types of taxes in Canada, which is crazy. Like it's crazy. We have income tax, we have federal tax, we have provincial tax, we have sales tax. Like we have several taxes, and this is just ridiculous, because I feel like if you go to the store and you want to buy maybe a dress, if you're buying these shirts from the store and you see $25 on these shirts, that is not the actual price you're going to pay. You're paying $25 plus the taxes that you'd be paying on these clothes. For instance, Ontario's sales tax is 13%. So anything you purchase, you just know that thing is not the price you see in the store, is not the actual price. Add 13% to that price, and that is what you're supposed to pay. I mean, it's really funny, because in most places, if you're living in Europe or you're living in Africa, we don't pay extra tax. So whatever you are buying, tax is already included, and the company you buy from, I don't know how they do it, they pay their income taxes. So they don't take taxes from you, because it's already calculated and included in whatever you're purchasing. So that shocked me a bit. And another thing as well is that what your salary is. So whenever you're getting, if you get a new job and they offer you maybe $75,000 as your salary, just know that $75,000 is not what you're taking home at the end of the year. The income tax is going to like be taken out of that 75,000. So whenever you're getting a job, make sure you negotiate and make sure you know that the amount they are offering you is not what you're going to take home. Another thing that shocked me, or that still shocks me actually in Canada, is the fact that it is so expensive to travel within Canada. If you don't know, Canada is one of the largest countries in landmass. It's so big and it's so far apart. Everywhere is like really far from each other. So if you're living in Ontario, for instance, and you have a friend living in Saskatchewan, just know that it's a long trip. So if you're driving to Saskatchewan, it can probably take you, I think, 2 days to travel to Saskatchewan. I think it's about 30 something hours to drive to Saskatchewan. And if you're going by air, I think it's probably like 3 hours flight or 4 hours flight to go there. So it's far. Everywhere in Canada is far, and this also affects how much you pay for the flight as well. So if you're traveling within Canada, you can probably be spending nothing less than $800 for a return ticket, which is like, I can use that amount or even less to travel somewhere outside Canada. It still shocks me. Like, I'm like, why should I be traveling within the same country and spend so much money to travel? Flights is expensive within Canada, and it's understandable. I totally understand that everywhere is far apart. The provinces are really far from each other. Even within Ontario, you could be traveling to another city in Ontario and spend 12 hours on the road, like driving. You could spend 12 hours driving within the same province. So I really understand, but it still shocks me. The next thing that shocks me about Canada, and I don't know, I think I'm already getting used to it gradually, is that it is really cold. I know people always say this, but you can't really get used to the cold. The weather is extreme sometimes. It is cold, and I'm living in a province that is not even as cold as some other provinces, and it still feels really, really cold. It is cold to live in Canada. Sometimes the weather can be up to minus 20 degrees, and even in some provinces they get up to like minus 40 degrees, minus 45 degrees. That's just to tell you how crazy cold it gets in Canada. I can't get used to it, and I don't think anybody can get used to the cold in Canada. The next thing that shocked me a little bit, or let me not say it shocked me, because I really haven't personally experienced a lot of this, but I know people have told me their experiences. A lot of people have told me different things about this topic, and it may be a bit sensitive, which is systemic racism. A lot of people say that there is systemic racism. I agree to a large extent. There's systemic racism in Canada, and you don't really get to know. Canadians are very, very nice people, and they're generally welcoming people, and you just feel like, oh, they're smiling with you, they're happy with you, but it's not always like that. And I remember few years ago when I just moved to this place, I was watching a CBC Marketplace report, and I'll link several videos that talks about systemic racism, racial profiling in Canada, and how it works. I'll link a lot of those videos in the description box, and you people can decide to watch it. A lot of people say that even when you're trying to get like something as small as renting a house, people could decide not to give you that accommodation because of your skin color or because your accent. Like something as tiny as your accent, they could decide not to give you that house, or they could decide not to rent that property to you. So yeah, that's something people don't really talk about. That's something people don't really know about. But I've seen a lot of videos, I've heard a lot of stories, people have like told me different things about that. And feel free to check the links in the description box and watch some of those videos as well. And that's about everything that I have here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, like this video. Make sure to also check some of my other content as well. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.